And we are streaming. Hello everybody, Tiles of Confusion for the 10th of July rather. How are we all doing today? We are just waiting on one more and we can get things started, I believe. Yep, so Mono, Prospero and myself currently queued up. And speaking of which, the mountain is slightly shorter, but honestly there's still 223 points and I am never going to be consistent enough to catch that up quickly. But, you know, give it another month, I might be able to somewhat claw my way back to Mono or completely self-destruct and the mountain returns. But we'll see. Also, 63 games played this year, apparently. And game is on. So, Smody, I think I've still got the set to auto match because I didn't actually trigger that one to start up. So, hello, Smody. It's been a while. As far as I can tell, you haven't played with us for about 2 years, so congratulations, welcome back. We'll see if we've improved anything since last time. Reasonable record, actually. He's played, from what I can tell from the 2018 thing, he played 4 games, won 3 of them. So, yeah, potentially high-class player here. Evening! Right, what do we want to be doing here? Let's throw it east for the moment. Starting dealership, reasonable chance of getting ourselves into Pinfu, and we'll probably want to just close this off if we don't draw it soon, but we got a few other loose tiles here. Alright, a couple of close weights, so whichever close weight we get, we won't go with the other one. And if we're gambling, I guess we go with this way round, but... yeah. Interesting. Gonna keep that, actually. Never know, might be able to make something out of those 889s. Hello, Solar, how are we doing? Okay, we have Carnage available. I'm not sure this is Carnage we want to be doing at this point, but we'll keep it around because you never know. Also gives us a triplet extended run at this point. Okay, so I'm going to say Ishanten at this point. So this might be when we calm. If we can pair up the 6s, or if we draw the last one, we'll go for the Khan Reach. Khan Reach. That was a bit fortunate, but we got it. Dealer Khan Reach. And on a 5-8, which, reasonable chances. All of them are still available. We sumo. Reach, sumo, Dora 1. Didn't get luck with the Orodora. Still, basically Mungan. Yeah, that was a bit fortunate. I mean, it was two-sided and two-sided, so it was a reasonable chance of paying off. Could have waited. Probably should have waited, but the momentum was there. And where possible, if you can Khan his dealer into Tempai, it's probably worth a try. But yeah, that's about as good a start as we could have hoped for. Fortunately, the second hand is not quite as good, but options. And if nothing else, we now have a bit of a buffer to start things off. Also, double door in this hand, so worth considering. So nobody's doing anything too mad at this point. Both Smody and Prospero have just played a middle dot tile though, so might be Shanten, might be trying to cut a suit off. Who knows? Okay, we now know which way down that was. Good news is we've got 2 safe tiles against Smody. Number 2 is likely safe Suji, and the 1 was an early tile, so I think this is going to be fine. Is then whether we want to play the 9, assuming we get any closer to Tenpai. 2, unfortunately, is a little closer to Vedora than I would like, but that being said, hand is developing. Pair up the 2s, hope to get the 9 pass, play the 2. Red Dragon we know is safe.
No.
Alright, Prosper dealing in. It was a single way actually. Hitting Iridura and gets a Mungan out of the deal. So Smody currently my closest challenger as we move into East 2. Also, I am streaming. Hooray. I mean, this is a great start. This is actually really, really good. Could have a Pinfu by turn 5 if we're fortunate here. Potentially even Sanshku as well, although probably wouldn't take that bit of a Sanshku. Having said, we do have to cut something in this one of these 2 pairs. Could potentially cut 7 and go that way around with it. Also have the possible Itsu, I guess. We're going to cut the 1 here. Possible Itsu was an option, but 3 dot is needed whichever way around we do this. Now I'm most likely going to try and get rid of the 9s. Well, thankfully we've got a loose tile that's safe against it for the moment. Fortunately, I don't have anything else that really works for this, do I? I mean, I can play 4, but that's really weak right now. Or risk the 9s. Yeah, we're out bed. I probably couldn't have got rid of the East regardless with this hand, the way it worked out, but that's not the worst. More Dora. We've had a Dora in every single one of our starting hands thus far. Though this one admittingly is the more awkward one. So either we've got to go into a single pair weight or we've got to draw a second one. Alright, we've given dealer bonus tiles, but that's fine. We've done that early enough that we can work around it. Though this is definitely not being played now. Downside as well, we got 3 pairs, meaning we're going to have to triplet all of these to actually be on the East pair weight. Although in East there's just been played by mono, so we'll take that as our chance. Somebody else is taking that as their chance as well. Still. Safety for turn 1, and we'll see what we can do around that. Risk a 2 dot. Yeah. Was a risk, but I was looking to advance the hand. It was towards the edges. And that is my lead disappeared. Grumble, grumble. I probably had other options there, especially given how far back my hand was. That was my only opportunity to call that, but I've now got 2 definite safe norths later in the game. Okay, we're not going to go for meme hands here, but we do have other options, and now I'm wishing I had called this, but we'll see. So if we can call both ones, get rid of 2, can potentially be into an east. No, we can't be in an east pair weight the way this is set up. We need something else with that. 9 dot though is more useful than that, so we'll go on with that. Hope to get another pair maybe. It's going to be very awkward to do anything with this hand, I think. Alright, Sanch Q is on the table. But I think we're just going to take an advanced hand to try and become dealer. Pair from mono. Interesting. Yeah, we know the north has got to be our pair, so we are going to see if we can go into an east double weight or... I mean, this is a big risk, what we're about to do with this. For not a lot of value, has to be said. And now the not calling the north is backfired on us. Well, there's a chance there's still more in the table. Well, now we gotta hope there's more on the table, because we're not getting anything else out of that. 9 dot's also not a great... oh, that is a push. That is unfortunately going to leave us to just play out. No, we're not gonna rush into that. Against 2 Riichis, we are folding. Grumble, grumble. Okay, Prospero takes the lead from this. Dealer Hanneman. Yeah, maybe we could have forced that in hindsight, but I feel that with what was going on, it was absolutely correct to fold there. Especially since it was 2 Riichis. Anyway, so 19k down. We are close to battle for second. Freeway battle for second, really, because Mono is definitely not out of this with the point difference. South does give me something, but one's already been played. West is not helpful. That is helpful though. We're not going for the Jinshan hand at this point really, but it might happen. Yeah, we're much happier with the Pinfu rather than that, but, you know, any hand to become dealer is worth it. We don't need to necessarily force some value here. Oh, that's awkward. No, we're going to play safety. They're all white. One has been played. Oh, definitely too risky at this point. No, we're basically out with these two tiles. At the moment, I'm just playing safety at this point. The White Dragon is probably reasonably... The White Dragon has a good chance of being safe, actually, given how late that was, but... No, we're not at all entertaining notions of going in for this. Slightly annoying, because that evacs one of my potential routes in. Yeah, we're out. Because Modi calling probably means tempo. Also gives us free safe tiles in the ones at this point, because I think all the twos are done. Safe tile, but somebody can take it. Somebody can take it who isn't me, I mean. Has that been guaranteed the free is safe yet? Not entirely, but we're going to follow with the 6 anyway. Okay, Prosper on what was effectively a bluff weight. Mono with what actually would have been a really dangerous hand, because that was Pinfu Sanshku at the very least. So Mono had a Mung in there. And we're still not dealer. Alright, 9 pin stout. 21,000 is gap, but we have the whole of South round still to go. Okay, starts on Dragon. There's a long pause for Mono's first discard, so imagining that Mono probably has a bad hand and decided not to go for Cockshitty based on this. Or has decided not to meme something, which is bizarre, but he might have done that. We'll find out later. West is no help. Most important thing right now is kill Prosperous dealer turn. Fortunately, this is not a hand that is especially going to be rapid at doing that. That was a great draw. Alright, so pair, triplet, run, close something there. We need to connect something with this, and we've left the door a bit long, so we're going to need something there. Ishanten then. So probably double pair weight, or it's going to be single on the 7 or 8. Either that, we've got to toss Fedora. Does that change anything? I think it does, technically. So, yeah, we'll do that. Certainly gives us a 2-5, means we can now calm the ones if we want to. And drawing a pair of 9s now can be accepted, and we still have a 2-sided weight. Alright, risking. Two-sided weight with the possibility of carnage. We've also released mono. And Riichi Sumo. Unfortunately, that's all I got, Riichi Sumo, but, you know. Oh, 1 euro. Alright, Mongan puts us back in the game. 6,000 gap to a lead. And this is an interesting start. This is an even more interesting start now. Okay, Ishanten. For Tanyo, nothing at the moment. Gonna get rid of this because I think we got better options if we go the other side of this. Also, the potential chance of putting a Sanchiku in this. But I might just start aggressively calling. We'll see. Mind you, I say aggressively calling. These are all middle tiles. I'm not going to get many opportunities. It is fairly good. We also have safe tiles for the person who's just called, which is always a plus. Gonna keep the safe tile in reserve until we need it. Because everything else we want to play is going to be riskier. Case in point. We have multiple opportunities to call, but we'd still be one away even if we did. Definitely not interested in carning. Could have called the triplet, I guess. Toss that. We'd still be 2 away. Well, we killed the Apatsu. We still have to get this 5-so out, but... Two should be fine. Well, random hidden single weight does occasionally work against 2 Riichis. Counterpoint, I have absolutely nothing that works against this. I could fold. Folding is an option, but we have Tenpai. Wrong. Oh, double wrong. Alright, well, that's my game done. Mongan and Mongan? Nope. Boy, oh well. In the doldrums with us. That was arguably unnecessary. Especially given the hand was that cheap. Oh well, 3 hands to make up 8,000 points then. Nah, that was needless. I shouldn't have gone for that. The hand started good, but it didn't develop quickly enough. If I'd have called the freeze, it might have done, but I'd still been 2 away even with the call, so... who knows. Anyway. Anyway, let's see what we can do with this. Potentially Sanchki, although we would have to cut something. Admittedly, we got the Bear of West we can just get rid of, but Riichi Sanchki Dragon would be quite nice. Especially since we got Dora. We have that as another option as well, actually. Yeah, I don't think the Sanchki is worth forcing here. We're going to go with the other option. That was the last West, but... yeah, okay. Well, the 4 should pass him. He's played mostly Manzi. That is less helpful. Equalising the game. Has got rid of Mono's deal turn, which I suppose has that minor upside. And we just need a Hanuman Sumo to win. And we have potential Carnage. Yeah, we're not going to take it, not this early. Also, completely kills us in terms of going for actual named Yakus if we do that, so... alas, we have to pass. The hand, though, is coming together. It's just got no value. I think we're looking at best Pintu, Ipeiko, Riichi. Might hit Mongan. Could hit Hanuman, I suppose, if we hit Ura 3. But, yeah. Well, we can't do it in one stage. We can potentially do it in 2. Need to win this first. Draw West, draw West. Reach on that would be probably best for us. Dora. Well, now drawing 8 would be better. Unfortunately, you keep throwing all the tiles that I need to draw. But Ishanten. And only 2 7s left. I wonder if this matters, but I think we are going to change this up. We know we can't count these anymore, so... and we're still Ipeiko. Now gives the option of a double pair weight if we want to do it that way round, but a couple more options into Tenpai now. Which at this point feels like just a call to try and make sure I've got enough of a buffer to mono. Rather than a for the win. Yeah, there's a deal in. Well, I still have second if this keeps going. Alright, 58. Gap is now 20k plus. So we're getting into the silly hand territories to overhaul Smody at this point. I don't really necessarily need that. In terms of my own personal thing here. What I'm mostly caring about is staying ahead of Mono. At least now the wind's out of the equation. I've now got a reasonable chance, as I say, of taking second, but I could take third and Mono scoring less points than me. It does get the mountain slightly reduced. Except this is not a hand for particularly chasing even that small point gap. Potentially get rid of the 1-2, but we'd still have these for the way we do it. Now, we still got a chance of going dragon, and I think we would go dragon, cut the 1-2 at this point. Still 2 away, whichever way we do it, but I was debating possibly at 2 scenarios, but that's a bit greedy. Yeah, there we go. Alright, Ishan turn. That is unfortunate. But we can potentially counter this with our own reach free-sided weight. Issa's live, but the only person who should be interested in that is Smoothie. We have a Sanchku on. Oh, god damn it. Why would you be in that weight? Random pair weight, but reach only. 1600 to keep the game going. And now we've really got to be cautious about Mono. It's the best option, at least in terms of what we could consider there. And now we need a... Actually, Mahjong and Sumo would be enough. That's 4,000 from you, 8,000 total, 4,000 down. So yeah, Mahjong and Sumo is what we're after here for second. Failing that, any win to secure third. Other people winning quickly mean also we finish third. And we have potential carnage on the board. Although, again, given the point situation, we probably don't want to be doing that. Well, we'll see. Irregular 2 free weight to secure second. With the upside of potentially being able to car number 9s. Lost Eripatsu. Oh, that's just... Mono, of course, attacking, but that might lead to something. We'll see. I'm dealing in with that, aren't I? Nope. Well, nothing much I can really do here. Downside is I've given Mono all the stuff that last in the week the comeback at this point. He's got South and Honitsu, which is more than enough to take third if you were to win. So there's multiple routes to my loss here. One was at least safe to Prosperous, so that was fine. And if he's going for the Honitsu, he will play the 2 of the 3 if he has them. reset, but ultimately a reset that puts me 1,000 points closer to oblivion. Oh boy. Prosper didn't even get enough points to end the game there. Alright, well this is we're going to end this now hand if it's nothing else, so yeah, this is what we're going to cut. This is pretty much an all-in from the side, but it is Mangan. We have no chance of getting into higher positions actually, so I don't know. We don't need to force that, we can go Toy. We didn't go 7 pairs here, who knows. All options, but ultimately we just need to end this. Downside of it being 7 pairs is that our last tiles are going to be edge tiles or dragons, which aren't usually the best for this. That was just played out of annoyance, I'll be honest. That should have dealt in. See, the 9 works for 7 pairs ish hand, but god damn it. Okay, that's a half fold. Leading into probably a full fold. We're going to play safety against mono. That'll do. Right. Oh, that was abysmal. Gotta be honest, that did not feel like a good round of Mahjong from me. Mono ends. Mono does bust out from that. Prosper takes the win. I technically gained 25 points, and I don't know how I managed to do that. I felt like I dealt in every other hand. Oh, jeez. Well, that was certainly a thing. GG. And I may have to sit one out, I think. You can, in fact, play. You're currently not queued up for it, but if you want to get in, you can be the player 4. Actually, let me just do one thing here, because I think I've got auto-matching on. Auto-matching is now off. Going like Mahjong, I was playing absolutely abysmally. I tilted out massively after East round, and everybody else started winning. You're not. There you are. Right, there you go. We'll go and comment on that game for a bit and actually just buy myself a few moments of sanity and calm reflection, I think. But if we do get another game readied, I will join that. Oh boy, that was... I don't know, I just want to go back to a few of these moments here. Because it all started reasonably well, didn't it? Considering that. We hit the... ridiculously, the rather fortunate, has to be said, because this is the turn I reached here. So if we go back just before this whole sequence, I basically just drew that. So my logic for counting the 9s here is that I had two-sided weights. One, I was Ishan-10 with a good weight and 2 Dora. So let's see if we can go first. I should have probably waited until we had Tenpai, but alas, that happened and that worked. Check the last hand. I'm going to get to that. I've got other things I need to do first. Let's go to my first deal in then. So, teed up from here. So, we know the Riichi just happened. In terms of definite safe tiles, I could have played the 9-7. I guess I was looking at a potential Pinfu Sanchikyu as a potential option here, but even then, I am 1, 2, 3 away from that, really. So, the only reason I played the 2 dot was based on this initial Smody discard, I think. but I should have confirmed that it played the 9 here. Sanchiku is not something you typically go for in terms of hand value. We could have just gone with normal Pintu-ish route with that, and that was a deal-in that should not have happened, at least in my book. We sumoed there. This is our double deal-in, so let's have a quick observation of how this sequence of events came on. There's a 5-minute delay, sir. I can't watch it until 5 minutes has passed. So, reach 1, there's already a reach on the board. I don't deal in with this time because East is obviously fine. Smody with an edge weight, Prospero with the Pintu-ish weight here. So, at this point, I'm in Tenpai for the 5. An 8 has just been played by Mono, but that's a safe tile against Prospero at this point. 8-8-6 free and a 5-6, which ultimately advertises that should be a 7-4 weight if it's going to be anything. That being said, I was a bit fearful about things around the Sozu end, just because of what the tiles were played right before the reach. So mid-Sozu, mid-Manzu were my risk areas. So I was completely out with my read on this. I mean, again, it's Tanyo and Tanyo only. And I guess I don't have any easy ways of folding this, but still, dealing into both is never a good thing at this point. As I say, my read on this is 5-so is a Suji to the 2, but that 4 played right before the reach is the danger tile, at least in my regard. You have a lot of Sozi tiles based on that. You also only played the 1 Sozi beforehand, which is a terminal, so we discount that for the most part. Mono hasn't played anything in the region of Sozu either, so we don't have that as an indicator to go on. So, yeah. Again, I didn't have anything that was good, so that was just more a case of what I could play to stay in Tenpai and what would be better. And ultimately, a 7 doesn't change anything. If that was a 6, I probably would have played the 5, but alas, that happened. What else did I deal into? This is a cheap-ish hand, so I'm not going to complain too much on this one. This is just I decided to get rid of the Easter turn later, isn't it? Yeah. So I got rid of the Easter turn later. That's a live East. I don't know. Admittingly, my logic on this is we're in the South round. If he's waiting for it's a cheap hand, and it was a cheap hand, but it was still a live terminal. I could have played the 6 dot for safety. Should have played the 6 dot instead, because that doesn't help me at all. I guess I saw Sanchiku, and that's ultimately greed determined that one. That being said, I probably would have played the East eventually, had not done that, but alas. And then finally, since Mono is insisting on this, so he has a 369 weight. Unfortunately, none of those are coming out. The 9th potentially comes out of me at some point, but that, I mean, any kind of win to win. And you'd have the momentum building up at that point, so yeah. Anyway. See if we can calm ourselves down and get ourselves ready for the next one. So, whoops. On to the watch. We actually caught the exact start of the game. Perfect. Okay, so Solar, Mono, Prospero, Starfall. And what looks like a reasonably good starting hand for Solar at this point. I'm actually going to pull up the hands at this point, but I'm not going to focus on anybody except Solar for the most part. Also, I have a feeling I'm lagged slightly behind because that was very, very fast-paced discarding there. So Prospero with the initial call. He is a little awkward with that call, actually. Oh no, he's got it's East, of course. There is definitely a delay going on of some sort, because these discards are immediately rapid once this happens. Let me just check out the stream is. Well, so quick Tanya with quick East attack, really. Does have 2 Dora, but he's going to have to get rid of one of them for Tenpai now. Or not. He's going to keep them both anyway. I'd have probably been inclined to throw the 5, so it's early enough. You've got a 2-sided weight. Ton, 1 Dora, move the game on, give yourself a bit of a buffer in points. But Greed strikes Eternal. And you're effectively now Ishanten rather than Tenpai. I suppose you had played the 1s earlier, so maybe. So, Mono waiting on a 7 closed weight at this point. So Prospero's probably stumped with a red dragon at this stage. Can't really discard that. Doesn't have a lot of great options, though, for other Tenpais at this point. Which is another reason for getting rid of a dangerous tile before it becomes a problem. Red passes, though. But that was a bit of a brave discard, in my opinion. Solar is, by the look of it, trying to fold. Has hit 2 Dora, though. This is going to be Greed coming back to him here. In fairness, he's not a million miles away from just going for a Tanya Dora free. You can make the 7 pass here. I'd probably play the 7 and see what happens. So it's not impossible he gets lucky and draws a 4-so here. And even 3-so is not terrible. Play the... And he's got too many pairs, admittingly, but... But he can now call for Tenpai if he wants to, if he gets lucky enough with a 3-5 or Dora at this point. Prospero has hit Tenpai though, waiting on the 3-6. Which doesn't line up well with what Solar's going to do in a few moments. Unless Solar draws a 4 or 7, so I guess. Unfortunate, but win for Prospero. Didn't reach for that either. If you're going to go for a closed 4, which you had the option to go for the pair weight, admittedly I didn't see what the numbers were. But you probably wanted to reach that late in the game anyway. Just maximum reward for a hand that's unlikely. If nothing else, you might force other people off the pot. Well, this spectating has not gone especially well, at least in terms of how it's currently reacting to things. Let's actually exit and come back in. We'll see if that actually clears it. So we're definitely not watching in real time. We're watching sort of the replay in high speed. Well, now we're just back to where we were a couple of turns ago. Alright, 39. I've also received an offer for things. Hooray. Okay, so what's everybody else up to at this point? Only people we know are currently Starfield and Solar. Prospero has a reasonably... Well, it's an interesting hand. I wouldn't say it's quite there yet. And Starfield with that call now. A couple of edge weights to fill in, but edge close weight anyway. Also, that's a double door I just remembered, so yeah. Hoobadoo. Alright, sorry. Slight distraction. So Solar now, East Shanten... No, actually, sorry, 2 away. Round Shanten. But up against the call from Starfall that was reasonably early. Mono is looking kind of monstrous, potentially. Is East Shanten for Sanshikyu, Tanyo, Pinfu... No Dora, unfortunately, but... Where are all the 2s and 5s actually come to this? So Prospero's got 1, Starfall's got 1, so he can still draw into this and get the Sanshikyu. Solar now, Ishanten for Tanyo. And Starfall, despite 2 calls, is actually in the biggest mess of anybody at the moment. And yeah. Ooh, Pursuit Reach time. So if you Pursuit Reach, you're on a 6-8. Prospero is on a bluff reach, but he's on a bluff reach to become dealer here. 1-7 already out. Does put some pressure on Mono, because Mono does not have a lot of good safe tiles against that reach. Well, you have Tanyo 1, so you don't have to reach this. It might... Okay, so let's go for it now. And Mono picks the Sanshikyu up, but that is 1,000 points lost. And a Reach, Tanyo, Dora, and presumably some Ura coming. Patsu, Simples, Red 5. Okay. No, Patsu firstly for the extra 1. So, Solar takes the lead. And there's a good start for East 3. At the very least, a quick start. Given the numbers, I might be tempted to go Honitsu with this, but we'll see what comes up. Okay, drawing another dot tile, I would go for it now. Okay, so he's doing the same thing. I would still have been inclined to throw the 8 rather than the 2-3 connected, because you never know, somebody could reach early and then suddenly you need any hand. So the 2-3 might be regretted in a little bit, we'll see. Oh, there's your dragon. And there's your second call. So that is actually Tenpai, 7 dot on turn 5. Downside is, it's an obvious dot Honitsu at this point. Well, I thought it was obvious. What's Mono on at the moment? I mean, Mono's hand could be reasonably good here, but he's got a couple of closed weights he needs to fill in first, so some work to do. Prospero will keep that 7 because it's a edge weight he can use, or closed weight he can use, rather. Starfall goes attacking into this, which is interesting. So Starfall's now going to decide whether he wants to get rid of his dot tiles here. Because West is also live and also Solar's wind tiles. Still 2 dot is the discard here, but preferably you discard the one from your hand in case anybody's looking at that. Slight increase in the Tempai bluff. No, Starfall decided he's got to stick with the 1 free at this point. Prospero is now in Tempai for a 6. 6 dot Tanyo Dora 2. Which is certainly equivalent, so we'll see. Downside is the 6 dot is in Solar's hand. And I don't see him getting rid of that, in all honesty, because regardless of what he draws for it, it's improved. If he draws a 6 dot, he has 2 pairs. If he draws a 7, he wins. If he draws the 5, he tosses the 8 and goes for the 3-sided weight. So there's no scenario where Solar plays his. Mono could play one, but it'll only be if now he gets a little closer to Tempai, can make that a 6-7 weight. Alright, Tempai for Starfall. Open Itsu Dora 2 on a 2 dot. And Prosperous Sumos. So, 2,000 all. Game moves into East 4. Oh, sorry, East 3 repeats. Not the greatest of hands this time. Prospero, though, looks to have got something quite interesting. See how Prospero wants to play that one. 3 pairs and a triplet. Starfall's hand is also quite ridiculous as well here. Was he Shanten for pairs at this point? Two away from pairs. Meanwhile, Mono has got a bit of work to do. Mono's got the worst hand out of the 4 of them at this point. Alright, so Prospero is now going to switch to, rather than go for anything ridiculous or meme-worthy, he is going to go for his Ipeiko 2-sided weight, I think. And, dear God, he's already got it. Riichi Peiko 2-sided weight. Riichi Peiko Pinfu. Well, it's not. No, it is just Reach Ipeiko. 2 Dora with a potential upgrade for Tanyo. But yeah, that's a really good hand and a really good weight as well. 6-9. 9s can come out. Downside is Starfall has a pair of them, but we'll see how that develops as it goes on. If nothing else, it's an early threat from a dealer. And not a lot of information for anybody else. Sorry. This is massively exciting Mahjong action, but I have been up since 5 in the morning. Alright, Solar correctly choosing not to Khan. This would be a bad place for it. That being said, his hand's starting to develop. Depends how much he wants to fight this. Decides to fold. Fair enough. So White Dragon's another live tile. He's got 3 safe tiles for the time being, and then we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, what's Starfall working towards? Well, Starfall's kind of getting stumped by his White Dragon at the moment. Although that's going to come out now. And so it should follow. Decides to leave it. I mean, 2 is safe as well, so fair. But down to just 2 away at this stage. Mono, what's Mono debating? Well, Mono is Shanten, and he could go to Tempo with this discard if you can make the 4 pass. Which, of course, we know he can, but decides not to risk it. Again, he doesn't really have a lot of value with this, so that might be the factor here, but... Well, there's the 9. Does Mono think it'll pass? If he's reading Prospero as Tanyo, oh, that's a disconnect. Oh. Not like that. Not like that. I don't know if Mono would have played that anyway, because I'd have probably been inclined to based on the hand. But, ugh. No, not like that. People should also tell me if Mono has disconnected, because then I can pause the game for people. Grumble, grumble, shake fist. So Prospero now has a 10,000 lead. Mono is back. Significantly down on points by not necessarily his own fault. Yep, nope, I agree with that. That's an exactly accurate statement. As mentioned, he might have played that 9 anyway, but the fact he didn't get a choice in the matter and it dealt in, yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, Mono also going straight for the memes here. He is miles down in points, but he's going at this with... Well, it looks as if he was going at this for 5. Prospero is just on fire tonight here. And I don't think anybody else is that close to getting him at this point. It is only on a 3-man, so it's a bad wait. And only one of them is left available to be played. Oh. Well, I'd like to know the logic behind that, because that did not look like a sensible tile. Especially given it's useful for you. Maybe he just really thought he had nothing safe. Fortunately, discard pool was covered up, so I couldn't see what he actually had discarded to try and potentially identify that. But, okay, so 12,000 lead for Prospero against Solar. Solar's got a good starting hand here. Downside is, so have other people. Mono's looks interesting. Still the East round, so that's fine. And then we have a look at what Starfall's got, and yeah. This could be over quickly. West is his win, so yep, calling for the quick attack, move the game on. Seems sensible in this position. You don't want the leader to stay on the dealer button and extend his lead. So, Ishanten for West Door 1. I might have been inclined by 9 there. Based on the fact that you are probably going to keep the double run here. Average your weight and whatever else. the marginal upside of potentially being able to draw a 7 and having another run there probably meant I would have kept the Dora. But equally, it could have got more risky later on, depending on if you failed to draw these last 2 tiles. So maybe it's correct to get rid of it there. I probably would have been inclined to try and keep it because greed. All right, Tenpai. So it's the accursed 4-7 weight again. And we'll see if you have the ability to draw it. However, Mono does have a loose 4 in his hand. It's whether he'll be inclined to play it anytime soon, though. Not just yet, at the very least. And with a lot of the tiles around the 4 actually being in people's hands, that 4 is probably going to remain isolated for the time being. Oh, there it goes.
No.
Only a cheap hand, but the game moves on. Seat Wyndham 1 for 2,000 plus free Homba. On to East 4. Starfall then. Starfall has hit Dora free, but the rest of the hand isn't that great. Just this chain of honor tiles at the moment he needs to clear. Starfall draws the pair of Easts. Mono also has Dora free. Wow, that's... yeah, these two are not going to back down. And actually, Mono's hand looks quite quick as well. This is Mono's comeback hand here, so he's not folding. Starfall's looking close, but... oh, this is going to end in disaster for somebody. Draw the middle tile as well, so getting closer. Alright, Green Dragon is unleashed for both players. Free Dot does nothing for you, so I could use that though. Though he doesn't have the East, so he shouldn't be calling this just yet. Unless he wants to bluff. He wants to bluff. He needs to get that East though, and that might be the undoing. We'll see. Amazingly, nobody's got any in their hands, so it might end up screwing them over later. Alright, everybody just drawing and waiting at this point. 4 is no help. Starfall going for a Nageshi at this point as well, actually. Someone could call this. Does call this. He's got Dora free, so he doesn't need to worry about anything particularly here. He can just go for Tanyo. That might give somebody a bit of urgency here. But Starfall's still got a way to go here. He's got that 1-2 to close up. Sailor is still Ishanten. Prospero is a couple away, I think. Well, there's one. Gets rid of his 9 pairs and he'll basically get there, I think. Yeah, so Ishanten for Prospero. That south draw is a little awkward for Mono. Well, actually, no. Mono could have decided to just get rid of that. Additional call options now for Mono here. You can call the freeze to get there. So they're correctly upping his hand value here. However, he still needs the Easts. He can't do anything until his East comes out. I'm not sure the 7 does anything for him in this position, actually. Pair of threes, 3, 4, 5. Nah, not really. So I stick up a 9, which at least gives him a second pair safety tile, and there we go. So Mono is now Tenpai 5 and 7. Unfortunately, that is a 5 and 7 that is currently being locked out by Starfall. So it's now a case of whether Starfall's going to switch to the 7 pairs option. Because if he does, these two are deadlocked against each other. That looks like he's gone for the 7 pairs solution. So with those two basically locking the hands out against each other, this might end in Prospero's victory on that basis. So there are 4s, there are 6s, there are 8s available. Could he do anything with that too? I guess not really. And it's also safe to Mono, which is probably his secondary consideration right now. Well, Solo's finally got his tile, but he's not in Tenpai. So one more draw remaining. I think this is going to end with a mono-only Tenpai at this point. Unless Mono pulls off a Haite here. But basically all Vadora between those two from the start, so that was always looking a little deadlocked. Alright, Solar into his dealer turn then. Has got his pair of reds, and it looks like it probably is going to get completed immediately, which is what you want as dealer. You want your quick Yakuhai repeat. Give yourself a chance of getting a decent starting hand to attack for a Mungan. Meanwhile, I've just realised how good Solar Starfall's hand is actually from this. 2 away. Unfortunately, you can't really do a lot with it other than go for just Ipeiko Pinfu, but now basically Ishanten for it. Prospero has 4 pairs in his hand, but is probably too far back to do anything with that. And Mono is, under normal circumstances, that'd be an awesome hand, but I've got a feeling it's going to be too slow. We shall see. Well, there's the West played. Well, I said it was going to be too slow. Prospero's just hit Tenpai with 7 pairs at this point. So I has to attack it, reach 7 pairs on the 2-man. So Starfall has the option here of playing the West that's just been seen, or playing the 2 so on the basis of Prospero's early 4. Not sure what I would do in this position, in all honesty. I'd probably play the 2 out of... So I have to play the 8. So that is a fold. East follows, East follows. It is technically a live tile, though, so not the best of things for Solar, I guess, but that's fine. Starfall now has unfortunately backfired by drawing a tile that gets him there, so he is now playing Suji out. So Starfall is not interested in attacking the leader at this point. Mono is... Actually, no, Mono already had a double run, so he didn't need the 7. 7's still a risky tile, though. Well, there's a pair, so I think that might prevent Prospero from winning at this point, now that that's been drawn. Depends whether Solar thinks he can get rid of the 8, I guess. Risks the 4. Alright. Now Mono's on the attack, and that is Tenpai Dragon for a 4-7. Oh, that's going to deal in. He's going to toss the extra 2. He's not going to take it. Yeah. Correct decision, but... Especially as you had 3 of them. That was the only way he could be on it if he was on a single weight, I guess. Well, he could have been on a... could have had the 3-4 and be on the 2-5 weight, I suppose, but... Oh, that was unfortunate. Okay. So, South 2, Mono's dealer turn. Also, hello JPB. I see you currently waiting. We're just needing some more players in, I think, at this point. So, Solar with a 2-Dora starting hand, South round. If you compare it to South's, this is actually looking good. Other than that, though, he's probably going to have to grin bear it and try and just snipe some value here. He could settle for second. Actually, drawing 3 Dora here means now he's not settling for second anymore. Now he's got to go for something. So I'd probably be inclined to cut South 9 now and try and force a Tanya. Tanyo, Dora 3 gets you half the way to the gap point difference. The downside is that Starfall is attacking. Playing South after 2 calls always feels a little more dodgy than have you done it last turn. Still. Dora 4. This is looking kind of ridiculous for Solar at the moment. Yeah, call it. Absolutely. You want to force Tanyo here. There's no reason not to take Dora 3. Tanyo, Dora 5 gives you Hanneman. Hanneman, 12,000 points, isn't quite enough to take it all the way in one go, but it's a significant chunk of Prospero's points gap gone, and if he does get sumoed or if you self-draw it, I think you will overtake him. So play the 2 so here, I think. Okay, fine. It's only a marginal upside, but the 2 is kind of loose, and you could still have accepted a 5 man if it had come off. Well, Starfall is bluffing and bluffing hard at this point, but he's likely to get that last one eventually. So now you play the 2 so here. Early 1 indicates it's probably safe. But, oh boy. So, Mono is obviously on all-out attack Mahjong here and looking at his Chanter. And really doesn't have a lot of options but to try and go for it, I think, because he's so far back on points and he's the dealer at the moment. He needs to win this hand. Prospero reaching, and it is a 1-4 at this point. So Starfall's probably gone... Yeah, that's the worst for Starfall right now. Let's see if Solar wants to keep going. He's got a hand that's worth attacking this, though. Because it is basically a turnaround. Yep, this is cool. Play the 8 and take the Tenpai. So this is Tanyo Dora 5 on a 5-4. Unfortunately, I think both of those are... Well, yeah, the 5 won't come out of Starfall. 4 obviously won't come out of Prospero and he's sumoed anyway. That is unfortunate. That was a comeback hand for Solar. But Prospero's managed to kill that. And we move into South 3. So, looking good for Solar finishing in second. Prospero just absolutely crushing it tonight. Mono has got the brilliant starting hand of a triplet of Easts in the South round. Which I think sums up how his game has gone thus far. Oh, well, he has been really unlucky up to this point, I have to be honest. And the 9 so discard was not his fault. That was a disconnect. Just happened to annoyingly be on Prospero's biggest hand of the evening. But, oh dear. But is there anything he can do with this? Reach and hope for free Uridor, I think, is looking quite good at the moment. Let's just actually switch to perspective here, just so I've got the point difference. So he's 11 down. He needs a Hanneman to off anybody to take third. Thank you, Prospero. So Prospero just going for any kind of win here. That might be a little overly aggressive, because unless he has Mangan, he only really cares about this. Alright, Pursuit Reach time. He's got nothing to lose by going for a 1-4 Pursuit Reach here. The downside is all the 4s are in people's hands, so... Ooh, that might come out of Starfall, though. That might be salvation. Hey, no worries. I apologise for my babbling inconfusions and my constant swapping from English to Japanese terms. But I'm happy to hear it. Is that a deal in? That does not appear to be a deal in. Because otherwise it would show red. So yeah, that one might come out of Starfall. But I don't know. He's held onto it this long. And if he's done that, he's probably just assumed it's dangerous and isn't going to advance the hand beyond that. But something's got to come out of that. He knows the one's safe, so... Well, one's safe against him. One's also safely that way. Prospero has kind of folded, I think, from this point of view here. Six-dot passes, which obviously Starfall follows. So yeah, Starfall's just playing safe tiles right now. As appears to be everybody. Alright, 5 more draws for... Oh, there we go. And Dylan.
No.
Hitting the Uridura means that was Mangan, and that actually is a change of position, isn't it? Nope, not quite. But that means South 4 has a bit of a stake now for 2 people. So Solar needs a 4,000 point hand to overhaul. Mono still needs a... Actually, needs a Hanneman... Oh, he needs even better than Hanneman. Hanneman Sumo is not enough. Actually, no, Hanneman Sumo would be enough. Mangan Sumo wouldn't be enough for him. Even with Starfall being the dealer. And he can't take a Hanneman off anybody else. So it's got to be Hanneman Sumo, which is not a nice place to be in. Meanwhile, Solar needs a 2-Han hand. 2-Han Sumo anyway, and that would do it. Starfall's opening hand is kind of garbage, but he's going to try and force it anyway because he's the dealer, and that's exactly his prerogative. Prospero, what is with that hand? I've just noticed here. What is with this? That is nuts, sir. That is nuts. Also, I'm joining this game. I don't care who's currently queuing up. Your level of luck, sir, has been kind of absurd this game. But we'll see. As I say, Starfall doesn't need much. He needs a 3-hand hand and he can do it, so... yeah, I was looking at the points earlier, so you need 32 for this. No, Prospero. This is his hand in the last game. Dora White's additional Dora. Doesn't need them, of course, but, you know. It's not about what he needs. I might even be inclined to call here. Decides not to. So that call of the freeze, what is he going for here? He hasn't cut the ones, which is what I would normally expect to do in this position, so he might be genuinely thinking Toy Toy. Downside is, the pair of 7s and the pair of 6s are middle tiles, so seems unlikely. Oh, you always got to consider the win. Certainly that's why that's the stance I'm taking with you here. We're reflecting that you're only a 2-hand hand with a triplet away from winning, so we're going to assume you're trying for the win. Might not work, but hey. But yeah, cutting the ones here gives you Tanya, which at least gives you a backup plan. Admittedly, not a backup plan that's worth enough points to actually take the lead, but still a reasonable backup plan. It looks like he's still going for Toy Toy, though. Starfall does play 6, and that presumably is getting called. Yep. So, Ishanten for Toy Toy. Meanwhile, Starfall continuing his bluffing ways. Well, it's not going to happen, but you always want to consider what your options are in case it doesn't. And at least, especially as 2 of your pairs were middles, but you got one of those out the way, and you now don't necessarily need to get the 7s. 2s are possible. But anyway, Starfall in, currently in a single white dragon. I realise there's people waiting for a game at this point. I just want to obviously observe this since I have watched the whole thing. And I also want to jump in, so I'm going to put myself in place. What I might do is I might put the 2 new people in. So we have JPB and Karma who are joining. So I'll put those into the game, and then we'll see who wants to take up their 4th spot. Ah, there you are. No worries. We'll get you in the next game. Right, so White Dragon looks like it's going to be unfortunately locked out. Prospero's not going to get rid of his pair of those. Solar still needs to get one more call for it. That puts Prospero Tempai, but doesn't actually do anything, I don't think. Actually, would that be Prospero Tempai? Yeah, would have done. He'd have called that for over 7. He'd be on the 6 naturally. Would have won, but he wouldn't have had a Yaku. So, winning hand, just not Yaku hand. Also, yeah, Mono's on a 2-5. So, which is Riichi, Tanyo. Riichi, Tanyo, I think, unless you can hit some Uradura. Also, Solar has gone a bit backwards trying to dodge that, I think. And there's a D-line. Unfortunately, not enough points, but I think that's going to be a safe for Solar in second. Yep. So Mono picks up 9-1 and unfortunately finishes last again. Yeah. I mean, you didn't have a lot of other options, in fairness, that last hand, especially given all the Dora were in other people's hands. But hey. Alright. So, as already mentioned, we have... How many are we up to? We're up to 7 at the moment. So, I'm in, you're in, you're in. So, we are 1 short of having 2 tables here. So, I'm going to hope we get somebody else. Start trying to find a nudge chiral here. I also have a dice here, so I'm literally going to just divide by 4 and we're going to work this out. I rolled a 6, so that means Starfall's in, based on the ordering. And if I do spot another person, I will immediately just start that game off. But obviously, we want to get the new people into games. Don't want them waiting around if they're in the queue. You've had games this evening. Alright, so I've just sent that off. That's fine. I've sent an announcement on Discord. We'll see if we can chase anybody up. But we're at the annoying point of having 7, so we are going to have to shuffle things around a bit. Anyway, let's see what we're actually doing with this. We actually have a reasonably good starting hand here. 1 Dora, potentially a Pinfu, Ipeco style of thing, potentially multiple pairs, potentially Toy Toy, although South isn't a bonus pair for us at the moment. And we've hit Nabadora. We could go for the Honitsu route, actually. Yeah, let's force a Honitsu. This might be greedy, but we'll go for it anyway. Karma says I do not draw another dot tile for the rest of the game. And there's 2 of my 7s I need for this done. Well, Toy Toy is back up then. But I think we will stick with what we're doing. So I need to draw a 1 dot or a 7 dot here. Alright, JV with the triplet of the honor tile. All the 7 dots are gone. Darn it! You've nullified this. I'm now going to go for Toy Toy. There is 1 left. No, actually, there aren't any left. That is actually done. So my only option now is to get in 5, which I've kind of killed myself. We'll get a 9. No, there we go. JP is faster. It was a slow hand, unfortunately, and Toy Toy is not usually a good one to attack with. If I hadn't called that, I might have been able to force a just normal-ish hand here without going that way, but oh well. I went aggressive. We'll see. So, Dragon 2 Dora in the opening hand here with... Yeah, this is a great start. That has made it even better. So, multi-pairs to get ourselves to Tenpai then. And again, we could go for a Honitsu, but that is greed. That way lies only greed. And we already have a set, so I'm happy to take a win here to become dealer. No. Also, remember, people can talk about what my hand is. So, Chun Double Dora. It's fine. It wasn't the most obvious of things, but be aware people are allowed to be in chat and read things, so no hand specifics. Okay, reach from JPB. So we need to sumo this, really. Because otherwise we're not going to get anywhere. 1 played. Daniel's going to play a 5 or a 6 Sozu into that. CG. Oh, Life Dragon time. Is this worth it? It's a free Han hand. Let's have a go. CG. I'm doing everything to try and justify my last discard here to stay in Tenpai, but this isn't actually a good way. Downside is, everything's dangerous in my hand with the exception of this. Well, we're not... Ah, if I'd have tried to make it pass. If we tried to make it pass, we were a fool, but... Well, we can draw another 1-4 that we can get ourselves back, but... It's still correct to dodge, even if we'd have... Giving extra value to this is never a good idea. No, we can play our freeze. Oh, what could have been? Still got one more discard to make, though. Bad South is fine. Oh, both of them in single closed weights, but, you know, it was the correct decision. We just would have won if we had made the incorrect decision, unfortunately. Alright, so that equalizes the game. Still East 2. First Tomba, 2 Riichi sticks. Let's see if we can go for a hand that isn't Honitsu this time. This is why you get rid of the edge ones before the closed ones, but fine. Fine, it just means we're doing a wacky discard pattern, that's all. And that's going to be a problem if we don't get rid of it this turn, but I feel we're going to keep it. We're still in a 30k game. I don't want to give somebody a Mungan, so my plan is going to be to just hold on. Not interested in that for the moment. Since we've already played one, we might as well keep going with that. Alright, double call. So I'm going to play the 4. One was just played against Karma, so that's my defensive options here. But, yeah, we're about to see. Cover 9-8. Played 8 very early, so I'd be surprised if he wants it. JV, on the other hand, might have just called for Tempai. That will follow up. Slightly annoying here, but we've held this for far too long at this stage, so we can't play it now. And that also means that we're going to have to try and dodge everybody else's hands for the rest of this game. Marginal chance of 7 pairs, I suppose. So South is safe. 8 we got safe for next round, and I guess if we need something else, we've always got the one man which should pass both of them. Well, definitely will pass now. I mean, not much I can really do in this position. Against a double call and a late call from JPB, I'm going to assume Tempai. That pause on that was evil. Anyway, he wasn't. So, free-sided wait from Karma. But ultimately, keeping it into a 30k game is fine, and we couldn't drop the White Dragon, because that takes it away from being a 30k game. That's giving somebody a Mungan and allowing them to break out of the 30k scenario. Hi Rumi, how are we doing? We need one more for the second game if you're interested in joining for something. Cut the one for the moment. So this could potentially be quick. It just depends on whether we cut that red 5. Well, we probably are going to cut the red 5 at this point, unless we draw something connected to it in the next 2 turns. But we can cut the 9 first, we can cut the red first, and then we'll see. Ah, no worries. Alright, well, I guess we're not cutting the 5 then. Ugh. Okay, so Starfall with the call up top. Could be a Honitsu forcing... We're about to find out if that's... Yep, forcing Honitsu. Could have a Dragon as backup, but I guess we now got to play it, or we're just going to be stuck with it. Okay, well that answers that. So it's the typical Honitsu with Dragon backup, but unfortunately now it is Tempai. And this means it's going to be another hand of me folding. Because I can't do anything with a 2-dot. Well, we'll kind of lean to 7 pairs here, but we know we can't get rid of this at this stage. Could go for Toy Toy, I suppose, but... annoying. And I've just got rid of the 7, haven't I? Yeah. I mean, against free calls, you can't do anything but go for it. I mean, Karma can attack it, which is fine if you can dodge. That's helped. So, Dragons 8s, I think, is the plan from now. Since we know we can play these. Okay. Let's go full tilt on this. 2 2s are gone, 1 3 is gone. Or I could call this, but then I'd have to start playing them against him. It is a counter-attack option, but we're Tenpai at the moment. We're Ishanten. I'm going to take the Ishanten rather than take the Dragon. We now have 2 safe tiles. Two-dot is the one that we can most likely play against Starfall, followed by the 3-dot, but... But that's the first Mungan of the game, and Starfall breaks 30k, so... Now it's a case of whether we can claw him back in. Dealer turn, though. 2 Dora. East in the opening hand, we're going to play 2-dot. So it's a potentially awkward Honitsu here, but I think we're happy with just a hand and Dora at this stage. And we obviously don't want to get rid of this 9 if we can avoid it. Alright, last chance to pair a Dragon. Didn't happen. Possible Itsu is on the cards at this time round. One dot, there's nothing. I mean, ultimately, we're not far away. Our dealer Mungan immediately puts us back on top, so we're not in trouble by any means. But we could probably do with getting this hand finished before somebody else goes on the mad calling spree again. Namely, Starfall. So 4 away from Chinitsu is interesting. Don't know if it's correct to go for this at this point. Yeah, we got 3 people waiting. They'd love you to join. Oh, slow grindy Chinitsu is just not happening. That probably doesn't help our cause. That does. But we know we're up against the Tanya, so that was our last chance to get rid of that. Downside is, the east is going to be a problem. Alright, Chinitsu it is. Oh. Who's it not put in? Oh no, there we go. Alright, game begins. So 8-man is the ideal. We can potentially call 1 or 2 and be in Tempai on the 8 as well, but there we go. Right, well that evens the game up, and we didn't lose a lot. No, well, I say evens the game up, there was a 1,000 point difference. But Chinitsu Dora 2 though. A shade greedy perhaps, but... North. We'll play our own wind first. So this stage, I'm just more interested in finishing a hand. At this, really, we're near enough a Mungan difference from the first of this stage. So Mungan Sumo definitely wins. We have 2 Dora in this hand. Let's see what we can do. East or red would be perfect right now, but that'll do. So, Ipeiko Pinfu double Dora. Still 2 away though, because unfortunately it's a triplet. With all the 1s going, we're kind of reliant on the 4 for this at the moment. Yeah. Not going to attack this. We could, it's Tanyo, but we'd basically still be 2 away if we did, so... Nice. Okay. Ishanten. 1447. Actually, nope. No, it'd have to be a 1-4 or a 4-7 this way, yeah. No, so yeah, so it is 1-4-4-7. It's just not the 1-4-4-7 that I gestured there. 7-man doesn't do a lot for us. Two dot does nothing. We actually can call Friso as well. Actually, no, we can't call Friso. Friso doesn't give us that. No. It's got to be 4 dot 7 dot 1 man, the last remaining 1 man, or the 4 man. Reach 4-7, so it's Reach Dora 2, potentially Ipeiko on the high end. But Reach Ipeiko Dora 2 would be absolutely fine for us. Well, we passed the pursuit reach anyway. Not much we can do about this now. It's still worth the attempt, so... And we get that. Not what we wanted ideally, but... Still, reach door 2. 52. Puts us into second, puts us in range. Let's go. South 1. Alright, let the jam flow commence. Because this could easily go to Chanta Sanchiku. I say easily. It could go to Chanta Sanchiku. It probably won't. Right, this time we're going to cut the right way round. And Alpha calls it anyway. Perfect. Diora. Also, both South and West have been played, so we'll probably cut these, and we're gonna hold the dragon at this point. Also, for jam flow, it's starting to happen. One should be safe against just about anybody unless they're on a pair weight for it. We see where most of the twos are, so... Oh, it's still going on. We could get this yet. Come on, 9-man. 9-man, and I think we're going to risk the green next turn regardless of anything. Especially if we draw that 9-man. That's not a 9-man. We'll risk it anyway. So Starfall is probably on a Honitsu, so this 4-man is actually really dodgy tile against this, but... An 8 and 3 have been played in recent times. We can follow up that tile at least. Yeah. Well, this looks like fun. Riichi and tons of stuff. Well, San Baiman. And that's game. We finished third, depressingly. Yep, ouch. We lose 6.3 points as well. Just to add on to my woes. Third and third for tonight. Alright, I'm going to watch the other game because I think we could get another game started. But, obviously same opponents. And at the moment, everybody seems to be absolutely crushing it. If we do get free, then I will just go and replay. But I'm going to go and watch the other game for a little bit. GG. I might as well say that. I kind of have, but you know. Well, we're on Prospero Ishanten, and this is East 1. And we're about to watch him breach. I think. I mean, that is ultimately Mahjong. I had two good hands most of that game, really, and both of those were when everybody else was calling and I had to fold them. Also, Prospero's luck just continues to baffle and amaze everybody. That is Riichi Ipatsu Sumo. I wouldn't be half surprised if Prospero takes over my position in second at this point. Actually, where is he in the table? He has been on a bit of a downward spiral, but still, that's 3 good results. He's going to be there or thereabouts. That would probably put him back into the top 3, depending on how Starfall's played today. Jeez. Ugh, if we don't get another game started relatively soon, what I'm probably going to do is head off and call this the last one, because I am still feeling quite tired, so... Anyways, I mean, if we do get another 4, but JPB's currently not in, so that might be him done for the evening. Hitting a Sandbeiman might be a sign that he has peaked and therefore cannot improve. I know Yarok's not around, and I'm not sure I've seen anybody else actually at this point, so... Well, we'll see. If we do get 3, I will join in, but... At the moment, we are waiting for that eventuality. And watching Prospero's insane amount of luck. I suppose marginal upside in terms of mountain climbing is that Mono isn't the person with a ridiculous amount of luck right now. But clearly, we have identified the Jam Thief, and therefore, he must be punished for it somehow. Well, that is Tenpai on the free, so. Or not. Is he going for an upgrade, or did he just decide to not take that Tenpai? I mean, unless he's going for pairs, but ultimately I don't see a reason to go for this unless he... No, you get rid of the 1 there and you just keep the chance for it. I suppose there's the outside chance of a Sanshku, but then you don't get rid of the 4 in that position, you get rid of the 4 here. Well, now he's building up to the pair weight, or the Dora weight at the very least, so maximum value, I guess. Herpadoop-a-doop-a-doop-did. So, free dot does nothing. All players now left the queue. So I think this is going to be the last game of tonight. We'll just observe this for as long as it goes on. But as I say, if I see 3 in there, I might decide to rejoin. Alright, well that now gives him his Sanshku chance, although it's a furry 10 Sanshku. Okay, so mono reaching. Let's actually open up the hands here. Let's go and see what people are actually waiting on. So, mono has reached on a closed 6-0. Solar replies with a 2-5 weight. And Prospero is out. Which again makes sense. So green safe against both. The 8 you know is fine. Actually, you know it's fine against 1 player. You don't know about the other one. But we'll demo play the 2 here. Decides to play the Dora instead, although admittedly Mono had just played Dora, so that makes sense. 7 follows 7, and that is exhaustive draw. Have a few points. Alright, Mono up to second. And dealer turn. And not a great start. 5 loose tiles. But we'll see how that goes. Sola's hand looks kind of ridiculous. Close way to fill in there, but ultimately possibly Itsu and reasonably close as well. Demo's hand, unfortunately, not looking too great, and Prospero is reasonable. He's also got the pair of his bonus win, his seat wins, so he's got that as a backup. Should the North come out, which it probably will out of Mono sooner rather than later. And there we go. I don't see why I wouldn't call this. Nullifying Mono's dealer turns is usually a good plan. Mono now deciding to cut his pair of East, so I don't know if that was a misclick or whether he's going for something else there. I imagine it had to be a misclick. Getting rid of 2 Han at this point is not a tactical play at any point, really. Prospero will probably call because he's already committed to calling for a hand, so... Ishanten. Solar Flare is also Ishanten. Did you take tea and coffee yet? I mean, I was up at 5 AM. There's a limited amount of usage that tea and coffee actually matters, but yes. I'm just finishing off my tea. So that's 10 pie for Prospero, if he can make the 4 pass. Which I imagine he does. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not sure what you're thinking about there, really. So, 10 pie on the 2 dot. Only one of those currently out, and it's an isolated tile in Mono's hand. So we'll see if that pays off later. Upgrade to 2-5. It's now a case of whether Demo wants to go for things. I mean, Demo has the option of potentially upgrading that to a Chin Honitsu, but is being relatively restrained. Probably more than I'd be in that position. But Ishanten. Well, Mono's drawn a pair of those, so that's good. He's not going to get rid of that and accidentally deal in. And is that Tempai for Mono? That is. So 5-8. Alright, so Zola's decision to make then. Goes for the 8, which I think is probably the best he's got in terms of options here. And that's going to be a deal in.
No.
Riichi Patsu Pinfu, and that is 4,000 points earned back, but that will keep Prospero still in the lead. Not massively comfortable, but hey. Mono's dealer turn is dealt with, and he's down 1,000 points. So, pluses? I guess this sort of hand. Admittedly, these aren't bonus tiles for him at the moment. Speaking of good hands. Yeah, it looks kind of ridiculous here. At the very least, he's got Dragon 2 Dora for a quick push. That being said, the dragons aren't in people's hands, which unfortunately is going to mean they're going to come along at the time when people are going to be reluctant to play them. Which is the downside. Yeah, Mono's just picked one up now, so that might come out. We'll see. As it happens, though, Demo is still picking up pairs. Prospero is still looking good for just a quick Tanyo attack. With potential carnage as well, if he really wants to. Yeah, Prospero's luck at the moment. Well, that's Adora. And another useful tile for him there. Decides to just swap up rather than play for Tuso, which I'm not sure about ultimately. I mean, I suppose he's got this as his established pair, and he's still Ishanten with that, so yeah. So he's got Tanyo, decides to reach for it because his point gap isn't that substantial, which again makes sense. So it's Adora 7 weight. And therefore unlikely to be played by anybody, you'd think. But chance to draw it. 4 of those are in people's hands, though. And he can potentially calm the Forso if he draws it. Which he still could. Alright, Solar Ishanten. No, Solar's actually Tenpai on the 7, but can only win with a self-draw at this point. Alright, Riichi on the 8. So with 2 Riichis, the 4 7s are definitely not being played. 1 7 left, 2 4s left for Prospero to draw, and 2 7s for Solar to draw. So that's kind of where the battleground is. And that is unfortunate because that's Fedora as well. Prospero picks up a Mungan. Which I think is going to be 3 straight wins for him tonight, the way this has gone at the moment. Let's just have a quick look for this. So yeah, Prospero has won 2 games already tonight. This is looking like game 3. And again, bonus tile. I've just had a quick look at how all the shiny stuff going on for Mono right now. So Mono has Dora 3 and a hand that he could try and force to a Chinitsu. If he gets lucky enough. We shall see. Prospero has at least 9 in his hand that he'll probably want to get rid of sooner rather than later. But with that point gap, do you risk a 9? I don't think you do, really. Not about good cause, anyway. Demo does have Carnage available. He's got all 4 of those free, so. But his hand's not quite there yet. So, Mono's hand could get extremely shiny if that can't happens. Yeah, so Prospero's not interested in getting rid of the 9, which I completely agree with. Useful tile for Solar. It advances another 1 up. So now will Prospero play it, now that Tenpai and efficiency is at stake. He does. Mono does not call Dora free. Goes for Reach instead. It's a bad Reach though. It's on a free dot, and I'm just looking at this, that there's only the 1 available. Because I don't think they're coming out of his hand. Still. Effective Hell Weight versus a Prospero 2-5 with all tiles live. Actually, no, 4 tiles still to go. With what's in people's hands. Prospero can't Khan with that. It is a shame in the way. This free zone now will never be Khaned. Nonetheless, Demo is feeling extremely mischievous. That's the deal in. It's a cheap hand though, so it's just to move the game on. Hatsu only 1,000 points. So, into the south round. And Mono's hand is significantly less shiny, however, now Prospero has been dealt Dora free. Demo's hand is looking like a bit of a mess, though he does have a pair of souths. Some work still to do. That could be cleaned up and be okay in a few hands, few turns time. Solar's hand is okay. No, we're still stuck at the same two. Effectively free with me here, so... And JPP has wandered off, so we are down a player. This happens. I mean, in fairness, I knew a couple of people were going to be away this week, so somebody mentioned it in chat. Kyrill's not around, so we normally do have enough spares for 2 tables, but just been an unfortunate one for whatever reason. Anyway, Solar. Ishanten for what would be Sananko, if you can get those. Failing that, though, it's just going to be a reach only. And Demo's hand now looks significantly better now he's got rid of all those honor tiles. Does Prospero want to start calling this? Probably not, given how far he is from getting just Titania. And so I decided not to call, because again, he doesn't have Toy Toy right now. White Dragon, another pair established there, so that's 4 pairs currently for Prospero. So you might consider 7 as a backup plan, or go for Toy Toy, if you can get the Dora. Seems unlikely anybody would play that, though. Demo needs it. Solar would probably consider it too dangerous, and Mono would gladly take a second Dora right now. Well, we'll see. Does the 5 get played here? It actually does. Triplet of the 7's in Demo's hand, so he's Ishanten. Yep, Ishanten. And is that Tempai for Solar? It is actually. Reaching the 5, so it's a 7-8 weight. Unfortunately, both the 8s in Demo's hand mean that that's waiting on a 7. So has to get the Souths out. Those one of them has been played, so that's fine. Red was safe, but he's going for definite for the first round, which makes sense. Well, there's another Sananko potentially on here. In fact, everybody seems to be on a triplets game at the moment, which is interesting. Alright, Solar, however, picks up the win. So, reach Sumo only. 27. Which I don't think Prospero is going to be too upset about, given... I mean, he had a big value hand, but he's in the lead by 14 at this point. And if he can get 3 quick wins, he is going to be victorious. So, Mono, in need of a comeback, has a hand which is pretty much meh. In fact, there's almost nothing good about that hand at all. You can't even 7 pairs meme it, so goodness knows. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, get rid of the honor tiles and hope that the game is still in a reasonable position at that point. We're just seeing how many Dora tiles that Demo has this round. 3. So, yeah, there's some threats on the board here. If you're Demo Mono here, should we aim for second or trying to get leader? In Mono's case, he's on his dealer turn. So ultimately, as long as Mono keeps winning, he can go for the overall leadership. Generally speaking, the way this question is phrased usually revolves around, do you have dealer turns left? Because if you have dealer turns left, it's always worth going for hands that will just tick the game along until you can be dealer. Because as long as you keep winning as dealer, you can keep going for a win. Once you're out of dealer turns, though, you have to consider your placement a little more carefully. So if you get a hand that can be Mangan, which is about as much as you can realistically expect from anything, it's then just working out what you need and how it works out. But usually at that point, I'd be going for a second placement rather than necessarily the win. That being said, Prospero is in the lead, so he's after quick hands to just move the game on. Demo obviously has dealer turns left, so doesn't need to go for this. But equally, with 3 Dora in his hand, it's an opportunity. So you might as well. The more dealer turns you have, the more opportunities you have for one of those to be a Mangan plus or a game-winning hand. Meanwhile, Prospero is quietly approaching Tenpai himself. Unfortunately, his Tenpai is going to have to reach with because he hasn't got a Yaku otherwise. Sola's still building on. So he's still 2 away from getting into Pinfu, but he is now at the point where he's Ishanten. How's Mono doing? Still a couple away, really. But that's 1. So 2 away. For a Tanyodora 1, if nothing else. And he's still got time. He's got 6 more draws. After this one. Sola... I was wondering if Sola was going to go for greed, but decided not to. Just going for his... That isn't Tenpai, is it? No, I don't think so. Well, Prospero can now switch to... Tanyo decides to stick with just Tenpai, or actually he'll still get it, but obviously he needs the 2.6 for that. And Mono has got his reach. Okay, so it's a closed 7 weight, not a great weight, and it's pursued immediately by a closed 3. Also, that concealed 7 of Mono's is unfortunately dead because there's no way Demo plays one of his triplets from this position. Unfortunate, but this is the downside of being in these sort of kind of single weights. This, though, is going to be interesting. Does Prospero go for this? Does he think the 2 is going to be safe? He does, in fact, go for it. And it's a double roll. Well, game on. But Demo has taken the lead. And that's Mungan at least. Is that 2 Mungans? No, 2 Mungans. Or near enough Mungans. So Prospero has just leapt, and the game is now massively equalised. So this is now where placement matters. Prospero is now second, but he's only 9,400 behind the leader. So in terms of how that equates, a Mungan Sumo will get you 10,000 difference from any other player. So Prospero is now going to be aiming for that Mungan Sumo in the last 2 hands. If we have a quick look at Sola, who's got the slightly more interesting position here, he's 400 behind Prospero, so any win gets him second, but again, he's dealer, so as long as he can keep winning, he will take the lead eventually. The only one who's got a real bad situation here is going to be Mono, who is now 17,000 down. This is actually a really strong starting hand, but he's got no dealer turns left, so he has to do this in 1 big hand or 2 good hands. So he needs a bit of luck on his side. But if he were to do it in 1, he would need a... Hanneman would only get him 16,000 as a sumo, so he needs a Baiman sumo at this point. And while you can reasonably expect to get a Mungan opportunity towards the end of the game, a Baiman opportunity is extremely rare. Unless you get the ability to do some carnage. And this is where carnage is always a good idea, at least if you're behind. In fairness, if Mono wants to just go for additional positions, though, a Mungan from anybody is enough to do that. So the downside from Mono's point of view is he's now up against the fast reach. It is a bluff reach. It's only waiting on the free, but it's, again, reach Dora Dora. So that's potentially enough points for Demo to just win the game outright from that. With the new point gap. He would be at, what, 16,000? So that would be, even with him as dealer, it would probably be a Hanneman. I'm happy to start one more game off if people are interested in doing that. However, I am probably going to end the stream here. So currently we have Karma, Starfall, Prosper, and Demo for one more game. I might watch. We'll see. Well, first come, first serve. I'm just going to go for random seats and say go. Okay, Mono with the Pursuit Reach. So, one Dora, hope for some Uradura. Waiting on a Concealed 5. Which might come out of Solar, we'll see. Well, I've made some comments as the game has gone on. But, oh, Sumo from Mono. Is this a comeback? This could be a comeback from Mono. Riichi has hit Hanneman. So that puts Mono in second. And gives him a slim chance of taking the lead and extending his lead at the top. Because I've not done well today. I mean, flow is subjective, but also Mono has just picked up another ridiculous starting hand here. So Mono could not have asked for a better hand to try and win 1,000 points with. This is the kind of hand you dream with when you're final dealer. Or into the final dealer turn. Admittingly, there's some roughness here, but you've got 2 Yakuhai immediately. You know where one of Fedora is, so you know somebody else doesn't have it, importantly. I mean, you made a couple of decisions I wouldn't agree with, but it wasn't... Again, I've not been necessarily focusing on what you've been doing, I've got to be honest. Largely because of Prospero's ridiculous amount of jam, Demo's ridiculous hands in the last couple of games, and now this. So, okay, Mono looking to, again, go for Chanter. He's probably not tied into Chanter, but given what his tiles are doing, why not? But will... Oh, it's looking good now. Okay, one away. The comeback looking good. So Ishanten for... I mean, it's more value than he actually cares about, in all honesty, but... Prosper, though, has the ability to counter reach with a... Really reach only. I'm surprised he went for this, because unless he hits Sora free, this doesn't give him anywhere near enough value. Unless he can count the 7s. I'd have probably, with Prospero's position in the current points gap, I'd have tossed the 9s and hoped I'd get a chance. Obviously, wasn't going to happen. The 7 was stuck in Solar's hand, but you need to try and up the value of this a little bit. Even if you drew an 8 pin a little later, you could potentially go Riichi Peiko. But... I mean, you'd still be 2 away from there, so maybe it's not correct, but... A reach and hoping for Uradura. He might be settling for 3rd, which feels a little weak here, given that Among and Sumo would put him in the lead still. Again, 10,000 point gap being what it is. Sumo and Ura free would do it, but... Okay, Mono swapping around, but still Ishanten. Solar looking like the attempt at Shinitsu at the moment, which is interesting, but a little bit doomed. Oh, unfortunate mono, but it's cheap hand, so you stay second. So Riichi and 1 Ura for 1300, and which again is fine. You didn't have a lot of options there, and with the point gaps the way they were, if you actually hit, the thing is, and this is the other thing that should have been considered. If I just go back on that, because you actually had one other option, which you didn't necessarily have to force it, but it's something to consider at this. Oh, it's going to go back and do this again, isn't it? I want to view the logs. Actually, I should have just done it from the logs menu. There we go. Ignore this. So the other thing to consider from South 4 perspective, just from the start of the game, because there's one thing, I didn't mention it, but the points gap being what they are here, if Demo loses 200 points, so basically a cheap 1,000 point sumo, we go into a West round. But it's something to always be aware of at this point, because sometimes a West round is needed. Unless Demo wins, or the win goes somewhere else, this game goes on. But hey, that happens. Alright, there is one more game still currently in progress, but I am actually feeling really tired. So I am going to end the stream here. The game will count, the one that's currently been playing between Combat Starfall, Prospero, and Demo. And I might use it as my review thing for this week. I might record the review of it tomorrow, and we'll go and watch it there. But yeah, West Round is a thing. It's basically sudden death. So the way Mahjong generally works is there's a 30k return. So your points are based on everybody returning 30,000 points to the supply. You start with 25. The winner gets an extra 20. So if nobody has enough 30,000 points, then you go into sudden death until a player has more than that. But it's always worth being aware that that is a thing, because sometimes, especially if you're the next dealer, you might be able to sneak a win that way. But hey, relying on West Round is a sort of desperation tactic for when you're in last, but still, when the gaps are that close, it's worth considering. Anyway. Thanks for joining us, those who did. I will see you next week. I will record whatever the game is currently going on for my review series. I hope it's an interesting game. If it's not, I'll still review it. But until the next time then, folks. Until then.